Thank you, everyone. We are going to turn to a topic that isn't talked about very much at international fora right now, the ongoing conflict in Yemen and the people caught in the middle of it. I'm a CNN Global Affairs analyst. I'm based in Washington, D.C., where mostly we concentrate on the Middle East in terms of what is happening in Israel, or right now, what is happening in Iran. Yemen tends to only get a look in when the Houthi group there, backed by Iran, starts firing missiles either at Israel or at Western trade, closing the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. So I'd like you to give a warm welcome to someone who's going to let us know what's happening on the ground with the people caught in the middle. 2011 Nobel Prize winner, Tawakkol Karman. Thank you. So, you're in Boston now. I'm in D.C. We're both living in interesting times. Yeah. But in Yemen, according to the UN, somewhere between 17 to 20 million people are suffering from food insecurity, many of them near starvation. The hot zones in the UN map of Yemen show that the worst areas of hunger are not where the presidential transitional government is, that is recognized by most of the world and backed by Saudi Arabia. That's in the West. Nor is it where the southern transitional group is, which is backed by the UAE. It has a couple of provinces in the south. It's where Sana'a, Hudaydah are, where the Houthis, who are backed by Iran, hold sway. What do people need to know about what's going on there?
First of all, thanks for GLOBSEC for this opportunity, and thank you, Kim. I'm so happy to be with you here. What should we know about what is happening in Yemen? Yemen, yes, suffering from the worst humanitarian catastrophe, as it's described, by the UN. Yes, after that, Gaza came, after that, Lebanon came. But Yemen is really suffer from war and from Houthi militia coup. So what is happening now, the deterioration in the humanitarian field, that there is no salary, there is no education, real education, there is no health system, it's deterioration in everything, and there is a war economy that's growing everywhere.
So no services in all three areas?
No, you can't say in all three areas, but the situation is bad everywhere. Is in some areas is more than others, but it's the citizen, is the Yemeni people are suffering from the absence of a state, from the collapse of a state. So the state itself is collapsed because of the Houthi militia coup that happened in 2014, and after that the war waged by Saudi and Emirates. So the Houthi militia coup itself. So when we talk about the situation in Yemen, we have to say what is happening, why it caused this. So to stop this catastrophe, is we have to go to the root, which is why the Houthi militia, why the coup happened. So it's a result of the counter-revolution. It's Houthi militia is one of hands of the regional counter-revolution against Yemeni peaceful revolution that it was in 2011. So it's this coup happened. They occupied the capital. They occupied some territory of Yemen, and 70%, about 70% to 75% is out of the control of Houthi militia that ruled by the internationally recognized government. So from one hand, there is areas controlled by Houthi militia. That is no responsibility for Houthi militia toward the people that they control. And on the other hand, there is also a liberated cities, about 75% of Yemen, ruled by the government recognized internationally, but they are so weak. They couldn't implement the rule of law. They couldn't give the services to the people. And one of the most important reasons that our alliance to those, to the government is they don't want it to be strong. They don't want the legitimacy to return. And here I'm talking about UAE.
The Saudis don't want it to be strong.
Yes, but most important is the UAE, Emirates. Emirates is supporting militia in Yemen. Instead of facing, they claim that they will face Houthi militia and to help the legitimate government to restore Yemen. So instead of that, they create another militia. They supported separatists in the south, and
right.
they didn't allow the legitimate government to rule the country in the 75% of Yemen.
So we basically have two Gulf nations facing off through two parts of Yemen, and sometimes together fighting the Iranian-backed Houthis. Now, when you were known as the mother of the Arab Spring, the face of the Arab Spring in Yemen, what was the movement trying to do, and how big do you think the movement was?
Look, it's very important that we have to know that the peaceful revolution came against the dictator, Ali Abdullah Saleh, and the dictatorship itself, and came for democracy, for freedom, for rule of law, and for peace. And we won the battle against the Ali Abdullah Saleh, the dictator, in a peaceful way. And we lead, and this is very important thing, that we lead the transitional period after we forced the dictator to leave the authority in a very good way. 3 years of giving people all human, so when we talk about movement. So first, we won in the making a country that is an armed society, own more 70 million pieces of weapons to go peacefully against the dictator. And after that, when we lead the transitional period, we gave all rights, also especially the expression rights, and the economy at that time became stable. After that, the coup happened, the counter-revolution. You asked me before,
yeah, the counter-revolution.
What is happening? Yeah. Is it civil war? I told you, no, it is not civil war in Yemen. It's a counter-revolution led by regional countries that doesn't want Arab Spring, that doesn't want peaceful revolution in Yemen, Yemeni Spring, to win. It's war against democracy. So when they lead, when the counter-revolution and Houthi militia is face of the counter-revolution. They were supported, by the way, from the beginning. They were supported from UAE and from Saudi Arabia blessing at that time. And Iran, after that, they became happy of them and they supported them very well. So Houthi militia is the face of the counter-revolution. The separatist groups are the face of the counter-revolution in Yemen. And all of them, they don't want Yemen to be. And the regional powers behind them, especially Iran and Emirates. Let's exclude Saudi Arabia a little bit because now they renew their strategy in Yemen. They are trying to fix their strategy in Yemen. They are now doing very good methods on supporting unification.
Do you think you could work with them?
No.
As one of the NGOs that is arguing for true democracy in Yemen and unification. Your NGO has always worked for democracy, and I know you want reunification of the country. And so in the short time we have left, can you see a path forward working with any of the Gulf countries since they are supporting the internationally recognized government?
Any country, especially the Gulf countries, they will who support Yemen, support unification in Yemen, support democracy, support new strong Yemen, because also one of the reasons that there was a very big conspiracy against the revolution and against the new Yemen. There was just a few months that we will, would put the constitution to the referendum.
Yeah.
So and then the coup happened because they don't want Yemen to be strong. We have all the ability, all the capabilities to be strong. So Yemen. So the problem is, even with UAE, if they will change their strategy to support Yemen, we are with them. I was always and still against the bad policies of Saudi Arabia in Yemen, and always condemned them. But now there is a very good improvement that they are supporting the unification, and I hope that they will continue this rule. The problem with us, not just in Yemen, in all Arab Spring countries, in all the now. Unfortunately, the UAE, and we will talk about Iran.
Well, we only have 5 minutes left, so.
Okay. The UAE and Iran, UAE, unfortunately, they support, Sudan, separatists in Sudan, separatists in Yemen.
But I'd like to stick to...
Let's talk about Iran, also rule with Houthi militia.
I'd like to turn to Iran because what do you think of the U.S.-Israel attack on Iran? Do you think it is going to produce long-term instability?
Of course. I am with the revolution, with the Iranian revolution against the authoritarian regime, against the Malali regime. I support them, and I think what is happening with this war is empowering the Iranian regime against the people. So people in Iran, the revolutionary people now is weaker than before. And Iran, unfortunately, now they are using Hormuz Strait. And now also, the people, with their alliance with Houthi militia, they are controlling also Bab al-Mandab Strait.
So the Bab al-Mandab has been open since the Trump administration brokered a peace deal in Israel between Hamas and Israel. But there's always been this threat that if the U.S. resumes attacks on Iran, then the Iranian government might call the Houthis into service, so to speak. But someone from the Trump administration might push back and say, well, we're weakening the Iranian government, and that means there's less Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps money for the Houthis. You don't think it will leave them weaker?
No, look, I don't believe that giving the satisfaction or the justification for militias or for dictatorship to oppress their people is the way to help people. While also what I believe that U.S. doesn't want, especially Trump administration, doesn't want to liberate Iranian people. They want to occupy Iran, they want to take its wealth, etc., etc. And because that, there is a very bad policy in Iran. But if the world, if the international community want to help Iranian people, want to help Yemeni people because Houthis militia pose the most dangerous entity against global security. And if they want now, they want to stop Iran from interfering in Yemen and from interfering, it is not by war like that. It's by supporting people in the land. It's by supporting Yemeni people in Yemen against Houthi militia.
I hear you. So what I'd like to talk about in our remaining time is your personal story. You were the first woman in the Arab world who was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2011. And a lot of people think that once someone's won something, that's it, that's done. But you've had plenty of fights since then. You resigned from the Islah Party, which is a party related to the Muslim Brotherhood. You've taken a lot of criticism in interviews, I think you supported Mohammed Morsi of the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt, who has some controversial ideas about women. His government was against the UN draft resolution to stop violence against women because he said it interfered with a man's right to discipline their wives. So can you describe how you have thread this needle of activism, but also your support for what some call a traditional Islamic woman's role and some, especially in Western feminism, call restrictive and
Look,
hampering independence.
I support women everywhere. And I think Muslim women, Christian women, Jewish women, non-believer women should be in the front line. And we shouldn't label anyone to their religion, to their colors, to their sex, to their countries. We belong to an international struggle for freedom, for human rights, for dignity, and for democracy. And because of that, I'm continuing my rule against dictatorship everywhere. So because of that, you see still the criticism against me. She is a Nobel Prize winner. She has to be quiet. She has to know I'm there against dictators, and I am there who tell the truth. Who is behind crisis in our region?
Now,
who is, and I don't, and this is Tawakkol from day one until now. So I'm against dictators. I am with people, with the will. I am against Trump. I am against Putin. I am against I'm against, dictators in my country. I am against militia. But I am with people and will continue my struggle with people because our slogan is freedom, democracy, justice. And we will not give up our call because the dictators gather themselves very well than before, and because they continue bullying us and attacking us.
And so my last question to women out there, but also especially to Muslim women who are torn between Western rights and Islamic rights.
Now, there is no differences between Western rights and Islamic rights.
Okay.
Western rights and Islamic rights is the same when it goes to freedom, justice, democracy, equality, acceptance. This is Muslims' rights. This is the rights of all religion. The problem is when it returns to the double standard. And this is what happened with the Western, unfortunately.
How so?
Yeah. So, unfortunately, they raise rights, and they are the one who guardian the freedom and democracy, and unfortunately, at the same time, they play double standard. And we witness that very well
give me an example.
in their recently with the genocide in Gaza, for example. This is very important thing. So it appeared how this Western rights didn't really fulfill its commitment to the human. If you go back, also their relationship with dictatorship in our countries.
No, of course,
they were, by the way, one of the reasons.
I've got to say, in the Arab world, the IDF's actions in Gaza are often called a genocide, and of course, in Israel, they are called the appropriate reaction to October 7th.
I don't know if there is a reasonable people, if there is a just people, will describe it is a fair military action against Gazan people. That is, I don't know. I question the values, but so it's very important. Now, it is not just for Gaza, by the way. With us, the alliance between Western governments, not Western people, because Western they are so great. Western governments with dictators in our region, for example, is one of the things that prove that there is very big gap between values and commitment and implementation.
So in the minute we have left, what is your call to the Arab world right now faced with the aftermath that still is going on in Gaza, in Lebanon, and the aftermath to come once the fighting against Iran stops?
Look, not just Arab world. I'm calling Europe, first Europe, because the Arab world, we are still suffering from dictators. We are still fighting for our freedom, for our democracy. So we are trapped between our dictatorship of Iran, between Netanyahu and dictatorship of Israel, and between Trump. So we are in a very big problem. But what I'm talking, that what is the role of Europe? And I will not talk about America, because America now in a very big trouble with Trump administration. So now it's very important that all of us, and especially Europe, has to review its policy to save the global order. Because that is the only way to save democracy and to save, peace and security. What is happening now in collapsing the global order, that is it's most risky than what we face now in our countries against the dictatorship. It's now new. It's the global dictatorship that is want to rule the world, by force and without any rule and standards. So it's very important for Europe, and here in this conference, I call Europe to wake up. It's very important to wake up. It's very important to review their policy, to leave the double standards, to lead the new world, the new global order, to be based really on a very real human rights, principle.
A year, more than a decade later since winning your prize, and you are still fighting.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Until we get our freedom, all of us. It's our battle now together. Thank you so much. Thank you.